Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the NLC channel where we bring you coverage of NLC Div 2. I am still Middlecourt, that is still M-Test, and we are going to be bringing you a banger matchup from the top of the table in just a few moments' time. Lundqvist Lightside taking on UniQ, Battle of the Swedes. M-Test, I'm here for this.
Yeah, I mean, man, this is what I've been waiting for a whole day, honestly. You see my fellow Swedish brothers look to compete. Actually, I think Lundqvist support is named Svene. This guy has been playing League for more years than I've lived, I think.
And that's a long time. That is a long
that's a
time.
really long time. I mean, I may not look old, but I'm actually in League years. It's like kind of similar to like human years and dog years. Like I'm basically 8 years old.
What season did you start?
I started in season 2. I remember just because Shivana was like released back then, so I was 2011. I think it was like super, like more than 10 years ago now. It's super
Absolutely.
crazy. Well, what about you,
Absolutely.
mate?
I was actually 4.20 Warwick was my first patch. So I just
Oh.
played that so much. And I'm glad to hear that you started in season 2 because that means I've still got 2 more seasons to hit Challenger in my mind.
Yeah, actually, that's accurate. I see here as well that our producer also started in season 2, so a few fellow season 2 brothers rejoice. That's nice. I think Svene, not sure if he started earlier or later. Maybe I'll get the chance to ask him. If I'm not sure if we were entering after the game, but we will see. But now,
We'll see.
actually, a swift move into the draft. I think we've been talking so much before the game, which I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy having a chat with you. But now, going instantly into the draft, this is what I enjoy to see. I just want to get this game going with.
Yes. So key for UniQ here is they have got Gouffet back in the lineup. It's not going to be Stumpy first timing lethality misfortune in his first league game in a month. So glad to see that. Bans coming through. We've got a scaling mid laner in the Victor taken off the board. The very flexible Karma removed as well. And a couple of other flex picks that have taken off the board by Lightside in the Wukong and the Gwen.
Yeah, and it's just like this kind of the standard bans that we see most of the time, right? The Wukong, the Gwen. Wouldn't be surprised to see another AP jungler maybe being taken out, like Lilia from the side of Lundqvist. This is like probably the most standard draft we've seen so far. I mean, obviously the OP pick are gone now. At least cart is still open, up for grabs. Probably not gonna be a fist lock in use. I mean, I've seen you trying to.
We don't talk about hovers. We don't talk about hovers.
Yeah, we don't. We for sure don't. Yeah, could be a Cardus, could be. I mean, there are so many things still open, right? Not so many OPs, but Cardus. I mean, I've seen Ezreal blind pick Renata actually coming in. That was not something I would expect, but yeah, Ilogudan just feeling comfortable on this one, so taking it blind.
Yeah, I think Renata sort of, it feels to me like a strong pick, not necessarily a first pickable power pick, but definitely someone that can perform well in a variety of compositions. Viego going to be the lock-in here for Lightside, going to be going towards Bambi in the jungle. A champion that has always sort of been around pro play kind of ever since their release.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, obviously, just like a solid one, right? And this one too from Lundqvist is also solid, I would say. Ezreal, we've been seeing it popping up a lot, like blind pickable right now as well. And with the Renata, obviously not a bad laner, but not something like a Karma, right? That like can punish you like quite hard, and also like kind of limits. It doesn't really limit because you can play Renata with any AD, but some picks are for sure better. I would say Ezreal Renata is actually like quite a solid one. But now the Nocturne coming in, this is also something that we've been seeing quite a lot. And same with the Jinx picked into Ezreal, usually gets like a free lane going, you get to scale for free. So really solid drafts. They're coming from both sides already. And this like probably the most standard draft we've seen in the whole splits of, I mean, for me at least, the ones that I've been
M-Test, I'm sick of Jinx. I'm sorry, I got enough of Jinx in spring. Arcane was great and everything, but I don't understand how she just keeps sneaking back into the meta. I do really like the Nocturne though. It's a bit of a funky pick. I always feel like it can be feast or famine, really dependent on how those first few uses of the Paranoia, that ultimate go. If you can get a couple kills, it's going to feel great. If you don't, maybe not so much. And it is the Yuumi lock-in here for Zvene, so really safe bot lane picked up by Lightside.
Yeah, and this the thing about picking Nocturne this early is usually you're telling your enemies what you want to do. Probably you're drafting like a full hard engage comp, or Nocturne is just gonna be basically an ult bot, and it's not even gonna go in if you have the kind of the long range comp that you have currently with the Jinx, with the Renata as well, right? Kind of playing the disengage. So I'm really curious to see what Eden and Neo's gonna pick onto the mid and top, because now the Camille is off, so it will be a really good pickup pair up with the Nocturne, right? But kind of surprised to see the Camille being banned though, because I would just assume that either Eden just takes a really safe mid, just a blind pick one like Victor or something. But then again, that doesn't really synergize well with Nocturne. Or they just pick a tank and let Neos play weak side on this one. Ornn is still open, right? Not the best against Ezreal, but still just solid overall. Has insane scaling. But yeah, they have kind of a lot of choices now. Obviously, they're gonna have to wait. They still have one more champion to ban. The Syndra actually being banned, the Malphite as well. And
when is available?
Gwen is not available, but Ornn
It's not available. Oh, I can't read. Oh, M-Test. I thought I could get this far in life, but it turns out I just can't read.
I mean, honestly, I thought I just messed up completely as well. I thought Neos and Eden were gonna pick first, but obviously Lundqvist are on the blue side, so no, they're on the red side. What is going on?
What's happening? What's happening, M-Test? We're losing our minds.
We're losing our minds. That is absolutely crazy.
It's all going wrong. Right. Let's calm down. Ornn locked in for Lightside, who are on the red side. Fiora locked in for Neos, for UniQ on the blue side. No, it's not. It's a Vladimir. Oh my god.
This is actually a pickup though that I would love to see more. I see this in solo queue, like not a bunch, but it pops up sometimes, and when it gets a free lane, as I would assume that it does in this one, it's gonna just have so insanely good scaling, and this kind of pairs up with the Nocturne well as well. The same with the Jone. I mean, now they actually have some kite back with the Jinx, with the Renata, but they all can also just all go in with the Nocturne, the Vladimir, and the Jone. So solid.
Yeah, the Yone ultimate is pretty strong engage into squishy carry like the Ezreal. Final lock in here for Lightside is going to be that Azir, who really has started to creep back into pro play, and I think really gives the composition a bit of AP damage and another long range character that they really need to make it work.
Yeah, and I think this for sure kind of enabled Eden to blind pick the Jone as well, because they knew that I mean, Lundqvist, they need AP damage for sure, some source of it in this mid lane. So gonna be quite a standard draft coming from Lundqvist. They have the tank in the top, they have a carry, they have Ezreal, Yuumi, obviously they have Azir, consistent AP damage. They also have the Viego. If they can get reset on this guy, it's gonna be hard for UniQ to play. But on the other side, they don't have the most CC in their team, and against a Vladimir, if this guy gets fed, it's kind of the similar story with the last game when Gwen was his super head. If Vlad can do the same, it's gonna be really difficult for Lundqvist to deal with.
Yeah, because Lundqvist, their composition doesn't really work kind of in the early game. Ornn, Azir, Ezreal, just theoretically, just conceptually, these are all champions that do need a little bit of time to become effective. Obviously, if you're able to find outnumbered fights, and if you're able to find catches onto people, you can make it work. And I think that's kind of what we saw in the previous game from Domino. But if you fall too far behind in the early game, you don't really have the tools that are gonna get you back into that game before the scaling comes online.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? And just looking at this, I feel like already it's gonna be kind of I mean, I've said this time and time again, where I feel like it's gonna be a slow-paced game because both teams have a lot of scaling.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, this game is going to be really decided as well. On Shaft, it's first couple of paranoias. If we can get something going there, then it's going to be obviously going to be a snowballing factor. But yeah, a lot of scaling on both sides. But whenever I say this, both teams are just fighting constantly, non-stop from level 1. So
yeah,
probably doesn't matter what I'm saying. What I do like to see though is we have kind of similar matching skins on Ezreal and Yuumi, and also the Elderwood, Azir, and Ornn. That's a banger.
Is this what we're going for? Okay, I respect it. It's high level analysis. I love to see it. But yeah, I hope that this game doesn't go too long. I don't want to see a 35-minute first blood. Glances at you, LCK. Ooh. You know what you've done.
Yeah, that was a banger as well in itself. For sure, we never got blessed or cursed rather with that in Div 2. Always a first blood happening.
I promise you, I promise you, it is a curse, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those games, right? Because neither teams have a solid level 1 where they will just go for invade, and both teams kind of want to chill until level 6 as well. I mean, looking at only maybe Bambi look to do something early. We actually saw Actually, it's a Bambi's cat, right? Which you saw earlier from
Yes.
Lundqvist. So kind of rooting for him this one. He has Svena on the cat as well this time. So yeah, the cat synergy is there.
Yeah. Like, Svene is actually just cosplaying as Bambi's cat this game.
Yeah, legit.
And I mean, like, you can joke about that, but I feel like in terms of characters that a Yumi is going to be really effective if you're jumping onto, the Viego kind of really fits in that pool quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you for sure. And the only ironic thing is like Svene, this guy looks like a complete like lumberjack in real life. He's like really beefy, you know. He's really lives in the northern woods of Sweden, and the fact that he's playing Yumi, it's you know that meme when there's like a really buff guy saying like pick me Yumi.
No,
pick
I
me
know
Lulu.
the one.
That's literally like Svene right now.
He's comfortable in his masculinity.
Yeah, no, I respect
that's what you got
it.
to go for. Well, I mean, I don't really feel like there are masculine and feminine chants. Like,
Yeah,
there
no,
are
I
champions
agree
that
with
like
you.
men and women. It's like
I completely agree with you.
all that stuff is a bit cringe, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, we are in game. Laning has begun. Junglers starting on their respective red bus, going to be pathing towards opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and this is something we've been seeing quite a lot today, actually. Not seeing a lot of junglers like pathing towards the same side, and obviously, kind of makes sense. You can't really punish this Ezreal Yumi early with the likes of Jinx, Renata. You can't really make a dive off happening with Nocturne, so they're just gonna be laning 2v2, and maybe Bambi can. I mean, maybe can look something to happen. Like, actually, a lot of people say that Ezreal is like weak in lane, but with this Yumi, like you have like triple combat summoners, heal, exhaust, ignite. You can actually look to do some damage in the early one. So maybe Bambi knows this and might look to make some sort of punish happen on Unique spot lane. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yes, looking at keystone choices, these runes in the mid lane. So it's actually opting towards the area. Now, I'm not completely clued up on Azir build, unfortunately, M-Test, but this feels like a rune that you're taking a bit more to be dominant in the lane rather than to do massive damage in these later team fights. Is actually trading with Eden, gets ignited, but should just be fine.
Yeah, and it's just kind of good for Zeus, right? He's just gonna be able to TP back, and Eden is gonna probably get in most of these waves. They're not gonna be too bad for either side, but just not having that ignite now and not gonna be able to TP back to lane is for sure gonna be an advantage for the Azir. As I say that though, Neos just kind of having a field day. Like this Vladimir pick, I really like this one, like the counter. I do realize now that Lundqvist has a lot of range to work with in their comp, the Ezreal, the Yumi, the Azir as well. But I think if Neos, with the flash in the later stage of the game, when the paranoia comes out, the lights go out, he can for sure like did some damage if he just managed to not get as behind as the Olaf did in the last game.
Yeah, I think the going towards the flash teleport is quite interesting because we saw a lot over MSI when Vlad really started to kind of sneak into the meta, perhaps a little bit earlier than maybe he should have done. It was the Ghost Ignite, which are some of the spells that do a bit more for you in the laning phase, but when you're up against something like an Ornn, you don't really have to worry about that so much.
Yeah, and I've actually seen some, like, there are two high elo Blood one-trick ponies. One guy is called Elite. This guy plays with Flash most of the time, I think, and then there's other guy who's named Opat, and he always plays with, I think most of the time actually he plays with Ghost, and I think they both can have their value, right? I think, as you mentioned, Ghost maybe might have a bit more power. I think it actually scales really well. I think though, if I was playing Vlad, I think I would go for the Flash all the time, because just getting that E flash ulti into, you know, that combo is gonna be super huge, and the Ghost doesn't really do that for you.
Yeah, it's just casually doing like all of someone's health bar level 8 or 9, and you go, well, that happened.
You know how we were talking about the late first blood? Now I see Eden actually picked up the Kull as well on his base, and looks like neither team's looking to do anything. I see actually almost everyone being really healthy in their lanes, at least on the side of Unique, and only NBC being a bit chunked by Neos, but everyone else just really chilling in their lane, having a good time. Neither of the teams have gone for the Drake yet as well, which is a bit surprising. Obviously we're only 5 minutes in, but that's usually when we see the teams start to like prioritize that Drake already, but both junglers now on the top side.
Yeah, there's sounds like a little bit of hopium in there, M-Test. Sharky has popped over the wall. There is no mana on MBZ. Burns that flash super early, just not even thinking about it, just gets out of dodge.
Yeah, and it's just good, right? I think if he waits with the flash, if he even gets tagged by the Nocturne, Shafty can just flash after him and probably gets the dub, the kill there. So good flash. Make sure that the first blood is still up for grabs. And as I say that, Bambi looking to take the Drake pretty much uncontested since Shafty just showed himself on the top side.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how that investment of resources work, because in the previous game, as we say that, Eden hitting level 6, going forward onto Sviz, who unlocks the Emperor's Divide for himself. That is a fair bit of damage going on to the Yone, actually.
Yeah, I mean, both players kind of looking to trade aggressive with each other. This is what you kind of talked about, right? With the Airy, giving you a bit more power in the early lane. And maybe this is what you need against the Yone. I mean, now they're going kind of toe-to-toe with each other. And Eden has Ignite back up once again, so might be looking to make something happen here really soon. Daft obviously used the ultimate just now. And he still has his flash, still has the ultimate, so could be a safe. But Shafty, I think, it's going to his recall. It's going to go back to his Krugs most likely. And we'll get that crucial level 6 very soon.
Yeah. Should be able to get that off the Krugs, I believe. I've not been tracking the XP as closely as I would have liked to, but yeah, you're on track for getting your ultimate around about 7.5 minutes, which is it's not terrible. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But the crucial thing is how are you going to use that ultimate? As ultimate used in the mid lane, Illigan forced to flash away, pops the bailout onto himself, and a handshake onto Bambi means that he can't chase any further.
Yeah, and once again, the first blood is still happening here, but Bambi, I mean, I like this. He's just covering his mid, right? Making sure that he can get a base off scot-free, basically. And Eden, still without a TP, is gonna be losing quite a bit of tempo on this one if he wants to base after this. But now we see actually the first kind of proactive player. Bambi going for the Raptor camp, but Shafty is level 6. Now maybe the teams are looking to fight.
Eden going forward, double knock-up as in comes the Paranoia. Exhaust onto the Nocturne, reducing his damage, buying some time, but the handshake route onto Bambi knocks him away. Not really getting anything with that first Paranoia. Not a great start to this game.
Yeah, and this is what you talked about, right? Shafty just kind of accomplishing nothing with that first ulti, and this could really, this just means now that, I mean, Lucas Lightside, they just have like 2 or 3 minutes where they can just play kind of how aggressive they want, and until that Paranoia comes back up. So now it's kind of up to them to do something practice, but Eden being very cocky in this mid almost gets taken down by Sis.
That's just Yone. Every single Yone player loves to go forward, and it is interesting to see how Eden has kind of been trapped in this mid lane on low HP for a while, and has required Shafty to come over here just to sort of buy him a little bit of time, but that means that you're exposing yourself to the Heartbreaker! The Ignite is going to tick through, the bailout, the shot comes out! It goes in, the ultimate secures the dub, gets the kill, Svene running away under his tower, but what?
What? He tried to slide
just get away, okay.
Wow, super crazy turn of events. I thought for sure Eden was gonna die, but I mean, we see there, both teams are trying to cover their mid to make sure that they can get the recall off without losing any creeps at all. And it just results in a fight there. Illigan being perfectly positioned there, gets the shield onto Eden, but Guffe and Moxon are fighting on the bot side.
In the bot side, dodges away from the Super Mega Death Rockets, but nothing more to chase onto the Jinx. Summoners blown completely from these AD carries. Junglers are going to be rubbing their hands together thinking about this bot lane.
Yeah, and I mean, both for the sides just having no Samsung, obviously gonna favor the Ezreal. Jinx without flash gonna be kind of a sitting duck for Bambi, who still has his flash up. But yeah, I mean, you see instantly the teams get level 6. They kind of just instantly turn their heads and instantly just go look to fight. And yeah, I mean, just really clutch movement there from Illigan, and he just gets the shield once again onto Eden to make sure he lives. Eden gets a triumph proc as well, and now he's not done, man. He just wants to keep fighting now. Really good trade onto the Azir. Yeah,
it feels like Eden, after sort of finally getting that base off, picking up those Zerkagreaves, has got a bit more room to play in the mid lane, and so it hasn't really got to that point where Azir can be as oppressive. That lost chapter means that the wave clear is a little bit easier, but Yone is one of these champions that can engage from so far away.
Yeah, I mean, you're just seeing it, right? He can just... that's just what feels so unfair about this champ as well. He can engage from so far away, and he can also stay safe while doing it. So, yeah, a bit unfair, I would say. But he's the better version of Yasuo, obviously being the brother. Not sure if he's the older one, but doesn't really matter. We don't really care about... Actually, I do care a bit about the lore, but not that much. What I do care about, though, is Guffe are having quite a big wave here under the tower, and Shafty is here with the Herald. Maybe getting ready to place it, but yeah, they're just gonna keep pressuring this. This is kind of where Jinx comes online with the Lundqvist, and I mean, obviously with the Cole as well on both the mid and the AD carrier, they are not like sad at all to take this one slow.
Yeah, and I like how much time sort of Shafty is spending down here. When you're pushing up, quite overextended a little bit on this Jinx, especially when you don't have that flash, you can be, like you were saying about earlier, a bit of a sitting target. So makes sense that he's just going to be covering his bot lane there. Maybe spending a little bit too much time there, as that means that Bambi is going to be able to move around the map a little bit. Ball runs into the mid lane.
Yeah, and the good thing about this, right, Shafty has no camp subs whatsoever right now, so he can like afford to make kind of waste a bit of time. But now they're going on once again. The paranoia is coming out.
Shafty actually spell shields the Emperor's Divide, secures the kill on Sviz. That's much better.
Yeah, that's just clean from Shafty right there. I mean, uses the flash as well preemptively to make sure that Sis cannot get away, and he's gonna get hit by the Fade, but Bomb is not done.
Bambi secures the stun, and he's going to secure the kill onto Guffey. Moxox actually picks that one up. Pops into the form, gets the slow with the zap, and Elo Guden might be in kill range, rooted by the traps, and Bambi secures that one.
Really well played it from Bambi. He knows that they don't have the numbers, but Shafty used his ultimate. Obviously, Guffey doesn't have it, and the Jinx just does not have the flash up, right? And they managed to actually deny that Drake from UniQ, and they get the second one on the board. So even though they won that fight initially, Shafty played that fight super well, right? They got Sis, but DC?
The Forge God has been called, but Eden may be up to the task. The exhaust onto him for that summoner spell, but means it's a 1-for-1 in the end. But Sviz picking up that kill is crucial.
Yeah, I mean, really, obviously, really crucial pick up there from Sis, right? Gets a bit of gold onto his hands, but really well played there from Eden as well to be able to at least pick up a kill 1v2. And as I say this, Neos, while all of this happening, is just chilling on the top side, getting, probably it's gonna be his third plate of the game already. He already picked up his Hex Tech, and I mean, BC is kind of not forced to go for the executioners, but he went for it anyways. And he's like, I would say this is like kind of Bob the Builder. Like he has literally only components. Now he finishes the Mercs, which is respectable, but yeah, he's not gonna be too happy about this one now. Neos, once again, right, he's just having like a complete field day on his Vladimir, and he's just able to lane for free, which is what's gonna happen when you blind pick the Ornn.
Yeah, well, you're talking about Bob the Builder for Mbizi. How do Lightside fix this? Because they're 2k gold down. Yes, they've got a couple of Drakes in that pocket, but when you're giving first turret over to a Jinx with all that plate gold as well, and Neos, like you were talking about, has really been farming up a Storm in the top side of the map, it kind of puts you at a disadvantage. Svane just able to dash away to Moxox there. Could have been caught out with Shafty. Waiting on the bot side with that paranoia. No flash available for the Ezreal, and they are going to be the target. Spell Shield comes out. There goes the fear, the nearsighted. Moxox staying alive for a little bit of time, but he's not going to be able to make it out in the end. Kill donated over to Guffey, and the second one, Svane, going to be falling down as well. The Ignite, actually, but the shield coming through just clutch as Shafty picks up the kill.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like what does Lundqvist have to do, right? For sure, they cannot go and hit tower when you're playing the weak side. I mean, Bambi was currently on the top side on that play, and he could not be able to cover them. And yeah, results, as you mentioned, Jinx gets the snowball. Now they get another couple of kills under their belt, and I was gonna say that I think the best case of that Lundqvist could do is just try to make some sort of maybe not a cross map, but rather like maybe try to swap the Ornn into the weak side and make sure that he can like maybe ult the wave, and Ezreal and Yuumi can like kind of stack up a wave against this Vladimir. And either, I know it's hard to dive a Vladimir, but they have to try something and make sure that like the Ornn is gonna be just kind of happy to drop some farm, right, and try to get some sort of objective for themselves. But now it's gonna be up to them to like keep not slow down the game and try to force fights on their terms rather than when only Shafty is like ulting in, right?
That was a bit risky from Moxox there.
Yeah.
Arcane shifting towards a Yone, not something I would recommend. But whilst we do have a momentary period of calm, MTAS, I kind of want to zoom out a little bit and talk about what this game means, because UniQ and Lightside, we're talking about them being the Swedish powerhouses, first and second at the moment, and if UniQ can pick up this win, they're going to extend that advantage at the top of the table.
Yeah, and this is just, as you mentioned, right, kind of a crucial game for both of the teams. Like if, obviously if Lundqvist wins this one, they're tied up for first place. But if UniQ wins this one, they are gonna be pulling themselves further and further away from the other teams and putting themselves kind of comfortably at the #1 spot. And obviously, them being both Swedish teams as well, for sure they wanna win against each other. It's kind of like the okay,
Bambi,
let's go.
Intercept in the mid lane. Shafty's going to punish him. Guffey with his second kill of the game, as there goes the Berserk Fizz. A lot of HP, but not quite enough damage to take down anyone on UniQ, as Neas is joining the fight. Doesn't want to use that ultimate just yet.
Yeah, I mean, really, once again, I think Shafty, every time he uses his ultimate, Lundqvist tries to counter it, but that's kind of the problem in this game, is UniQ are the ones being proactive, while Lundqvist Lightside, they're just kind of responding to every single play that UniQ are doing, and that's why it looks like the game is kind of even when you look at only the kills, but then you see that UniQ actually almost have a 5k gold lead, and it just looks really just like a mountain for Lundqvist Lightside to climb. I think what they have to do is stop. Obviously, you have to respect the Nocturne ulti, but you have to make sure that you are playing your own game and being proactive on your own instead of just reacting to what the enemy is doing.
And I really like that you've touched on that, because I think we can sort of see that reactiveness in the itemization choices for Svizz here, going for that Crown of the Shadow Queen, which really isn't an item that we've been seeing for quite a long time. And obviously, Azir does like to play at these longer ranges, and so does want a bit of safety. But again, it's not really an item that is made for making proactive plays.
Yeah, and I just look at the Crown. Obviously, I cannot really flame mid laners' item choices, because after all, I'm an AD carry main. I can't flame Moxox's choice. Once again, we see the Triforce coming in from Ezreal, which is not something that you like to see, because I will explain this once and for all, because a lot of people are just saying that. Wait,
oh, you're not going to have the chance to. Guffey's caught out in the mid lane. Moxox heard what you were talking about and secures the shutdown.
Yeah, this exactly what we were talking about, right? They have to stop care so much about what the Nocturne is doing, where everyone on the side of UniQ is, and just go for their own play. They know their Guffey has no flash. Once again, kind of a sitting target, and BC just decides to move from his lane. He's playing Ornn, he doesn't care if he loses a wave or two, and just, gets the shutdown onto Guffey. Some gold finally into Lundqvist Lightside pockets.
Yeah, and looking at the itemization for Moxox, we'll ignore the Trinity Force for now. We'll have that discussion a little bit later. But crucially, that Mirror Mana, that Mana Moon stacking up towards that item is going to be so important. When that comes online, it's a massive spike for the Ezreal Ignite. Actually dropped by Eden, but misses the ultimate. And Abizi's just going to be able to waddle out.
Yeah, cocky movement there once again from BC. Really beefy boy, a really big target to hit there. But is he going to be out though? He still has flash, but
he has greeted for a control ward and will be punished. Cocky movement, cocky play, and taken out in the end. Moxox going forward onto the Jinx. It's going to be another death for Guffey in as many minutes. Oh, 2 and 3 now. And Lightside, it feels like they've woken up. It feels like they've finally started to do things by themselves.
Yeah, I think for sure they're watching the broadcast, like we were just talking about it, right? They have to start being practical on themselves, and I mean, really solid play there from them. And Moxox now, even though he has to try, he is still on like playing Ezreal on a 2-item power spike. He's really far ahead of the Jinx, and he knows this, right? He can just E in whenever he knows that UniQ are not covering him, and almost still no flash, just an easy pickup there. And Moxox, I think, if there's one like saving grace for the side of Lundqvist this game, UniQ has, obviously so many scaling tools, but Moxox, if he's untouched in these fights, which he can be with his Yumi on his back, with so much mobility on his shoulder as well, if he can snowball the game with his items as well, he can really carry. Look how much damage he's doing.
Yeah, it's a fair chunk as Herald has been summoned in the mid lane. That Mirror Mana transformation coming in line at the perfect time. Elo Gooden is dead. Another kill for Lightside, and the mid lane tower doesn't even go down.
Yeah, and this is where we finally see UniQ kind of getting... I think they're not used to this as well, because it looks like they're getting a bit stressed. They're not used to getting punished like this. And now when I look at it, Moxox is... Man, he's almost 60 CS up on Guffey, and Guffey is not looking happy. And now Moxox, as you mentioned, has been stacking the Mana Moon as well, has finished the Mirror Mana, and is currently sitting only 500 gold ahead actually of Jinx. But I assume that's because of all the towers
that's the plates.
That's the platings that UniQ has been getting, which is luckily for him, right? But Moxox actually going for the Frozen Heart as well as a third item. This was something that I like to see when you're playing against these like AD, obviously AD heavy comps, but when you're playing against the Joan, the Nocturne as well, you can really, he has enough damage to kind of carry these fights regardless. So if he can stay alive, he can really pack a punch in these fights.
Well, I mean, you've got the Azir and the Viego as well that are going to be damage threats too, so you don't necessarily need to prioritize going full DPS for yourself. We did see that mid lane tower taken down by Guffey. Now that's crucial because it means that UniQ are going to be able to start pushing vision lines a little bit further. Can play with a bit more freedom and start to get in the faces of Lightside a little bit, which they haven't really done for the past sort of 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, and this is the momentum has like kind of shifted a lot. I know in Div 1 they have like a momentum meter, and I would say 5 minutes ago it was sure like all the way on the Unique side, but now it's getting even in probably even in Lundqvist's favor. Even though they are still 3k ahead, they're still behind, but they have 2 Drakes still, and it's not it's a cloud soul, right? It's not like the end of the world if enemy gets to do the Drakes now. You can look to trade for objectives, but BC. He looked good enough flash.
He looked good and so much damage. That was an isolated Mystic Shift. Another one comes out. The bailout doesn't bail him out. Moxox on a killing spree.
I'm just so surprised, man. They're just turning up a notch as well. They know every single player of Unicycle Unique that does not have a flash, and when they see them out of position, they just don't hesitate at all. They just go instantly, and now getting this middle tower when you're playing against flashless target with BC, man, you're actually a Giga Shad.
Yeah, Goofy can't use the rockets that Jinx has to clear this wave. Usually one of these champions that does thrive in these siege scenarios, but not quite here. Lightside picking up the second and third tower of the game for themselves, retreating back, and that gold lead that was pretty significant, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, only 1.5k now.
Yeah, and it's just once again the moment has slowed down, but they're not slowing down.
Nick's caught out with the searing charge, huge ultimate from Eden, but the exhaust is equally clutched. Viz going into the backline, but only secures one. That's still a double kill for the Vladimir. Piloted by Bambi as in goes MBZ. Another kill as Elo Guden goes down. Moxox with that one. Where was this Lightside 10 minutes ago? They're going towards the Baron now.
Man, they were just waiting for the 2-item power spike, I guess. I mean, once they got that, they just started to really activate it. BC has been grouping so well with his team. He doesn't care about the silence. He's only there to catch the wave on the tower. Then he goes to inside the group with his team and forces something. And this is just going to be probably a Nashor unless Chef has something to say about it.
Paranoia is available. In he goes. DPS stopped onto the big purple worm, and a shutdown secured for Bambi. The purple buff too, and for the first time in this game, Lightside find themselves at a firm advantage.
I mean, it looks like Unique. They're not used to this level of aggression coming in from the enemies. They're just really chilling in the early game, getting their scaling in. Wait, I'm gonna shut up myself up because Eden.
Taking a reset. Crown the Shadow Queen just buying enough time. Yeah, Eden can't quite find him.
Yeah, I mean, he has so much mobility. Dodges away from the UniQs and I mean, plays it well. Has the crown as well, right? So can't really get one tap there. Yeah, I mean, as we were mentioning, like literally 5 minutes ago or 6 minutes ago, Unique were ahead by almost 5k, and now we see on the other side, Lundqvist being actually ahead in this one. Like, it's super impressive the way that they have fought themselves back into this one.
And you look, you've got scaling composition, you've got Drake's soul point now, you've got the Baron buff for another 2 minutes. I think that Unique really need to start being worried about their base. Yes, they've got the scaling options of this Jinx, of this Vladimir, who's got that Elixir of Sorcery and is going to be looking to fight fairly soon, but Lightside are already on this mid lane inhib tower, and Unique aren't ready to respond.
Yeah, I mean, Sissy just pushing the bot lane as well. I mean, Eden was shoving up the top side, but could this be the fight that Shafty goes for? I don't really think so. They need Enius to find some sort of flank here, but they have so much vision, man. Like, it's super hard now for Unique to find this fight going.
There's the rotation down onto the bot side from the Lightside crew. This inhib tower is going to be a focus. Shafty moving into that mid lane, but the tower has already fallen down. Spears going in for the Shurima shuffle, and Guffey is dead. Moxox is unstoppable, and Neas goes into the pool, flashes away. Will be forced to run away with his tail between his legs. Only a 5v4 in favor of Lightside. They are looking to end this game right here. So much damage onto Elo Gooden from the True Shot barrage as Eden is going in, going out, shaking it all about, but not able to find anything decisive. Moxox is dominating. Huge performances from the Lundqvist AD carry, but the wave, the minions aren't quite there to get the shove in. TP is going to be used. They're going back into the fight. MBZ wants to make it happen. Respawn has come through for Gouffet, but the Renata is still dead. Knock-up secured, double onto the two carries of Unique, and Moxox is godlike. Divine performances from the Lundqvist AD carry as the Nexus is surely going to be the focus. Unique undefeated no longer. Lightside tie up the standings at the top of the table.
what an insane performance from Lundqvist. I mean, they just literally turned on when they just turned it up like 1 or 2 or even 3 notches when they got that 2-item power spike. And after that, it just looked like UniQ. They were completely lost. They were just getting caught left and right. They never had a flash to play with. I mean, every single time that Orn was grouping, he was getting something done. And UniQ they just looked shocked, man. I mean, same for me. Same for you as well. I mean, we were no idea what was going on, but really well played from Lundqvist.
Man, yeah, we had 15 minutes of just sitting back, chilling. And then Lundqvist Lightside unleashed unspeakable violence onto UniQ Esports Club. I need a breather, M-Test. I'm sure that you do too. We are going to be having some interviews in 5 minutes' time. Do not go anywhere.